Studio, Sri Lanka. Good evening and welcome to the national news broadcast, bringing to you live from the National News Studios here at the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. I'm Charitha Minipurarachi. Joining with me today is Kasuni Balachandra. Essential services continues uninterrupted. Price formula for fuel. Coal quantities required for power generation available until September. Electro Gas Company says the gas demand can be fulfilled without a shortage in the next week. 11 parties faction prepares for discussions with the President. UN Secretary visits Ukraine.
And we move on to those and other stories in detail. Trade unions belonging to state, semi-government and private sectors engaged in a token strike island-wide today.
And however, the correspondents have said that the port, airport services, bus services and fuel distribution were not affected from the strike action. Wholesale traders and many other business places in Colombo Pita will close down to support the strike action initiated by trade unions in the state sector. A low student attendance was reported in schools in Colombo and suburbs as academic and non-academic staffs of schools had refrained from reporting from duty today. However, correspondents have said that a higher student attendance as reported in schools in rural parts of the country. The services of the outside patients department and patients care department at National Hospital in Colombo were carried out without any hindrance, even though several trade unions belonging to health sector were engaging in the strike action. Station Masters Association has said that they have refrained from taking part in the strike action to cause any difficulties on the public whom are already suffering at present, even though several trade unions continue to take part in the strike action. Accordingly, several train journeys including fuel transportation, long distance services and offices were also operated without any hindrances. Sri Lanka Transport Board and private bus services resumed its operation this morning in a normalized manner. Correspondents have mentioned that long distance services from main cities including Colombo main bus station, Bestin Mawatha bus station and Makumbura multimodal centre were operated as usual. Sathosa and cooperative outlets were also remained open along with many other trade outlets. SLTB Chairman Kingsley Ranawaka said that all employees attached to the SLTB engaged in operations in a normalized manner with deploying 4,800 buses today. He said that uninterrupted services were rendered for the people through both SLTB and private sector buses.
මාර්ගවලට අවතීර්ණ වීම අඩු වීමත් සමග පුද්ගලික අංශයේ බස් රථත් ශ්‍රී ලංකා ගමනාගමන මණ්ඩලයේ බස් රථත් සමග මේ ප්‍රවාහන කටයුතු කිසිම ගැටලුවක් නැතුව කරගන්නට අපිට හැකියාව ලැබුණා. ඇත්තටම සේවකයන් සියලුම දෙනාට අපි ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. මොකද ආයතනයේ පැත්තෙන් බලලා සේවකයන් මේ කරන ලද ක්‍රියාවට අපි විශේෂයෙන්ම ඔවුන්ට ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා. ඒත් එක්කම වෘත්තීය සමිති වලටත් අපි විශේෂ ස්තුතියක් පිරිනමන්න ඕන. මොකද ඔවුන්ගේ මව් සම්ගම් කුමන දායකත්වයක් දරුවත් ආයතනයේ පැත්තෙන් බලලා අපිට දීපු සහයෝගය සහ අපි ඔවුන්ට විශේෂ ස්තුතියක් පිරිනමන්න ඕන.
Chairman of Private Bus Owners Association Kamunu Vijayaratna said that steps were taken to deploy private buses amidst a strike action. He said that all bus owners were informed that they could deploy buses on their own will. He said that as private sector they have to engage in services as the said sector engage in strike actions while receiving their salary. Airport services were also carried out without any hindrances. Meanwhile, Chairman of Sri Lanka Ports Authority Dr. Prasanna Jamana said that the port's operations was carried out without any hindrances today. Steps had been taken to provide transportation facilities for its staff to avoid difficulties. Chairman of Sri Lanka Ports Authority Dr. Prasanna Jamana said that operations in private terminals, CICT and SAGT and Ports Authority affiliated JCT terminal resumed in a normal manner. He said that Sri Lanka Ports Authority is more responsible to bring in dollars into the country, as he hoped that the ports employees would not engage in any action which could affect the nation's economy. Trade unions have said that the distribution of fuel from the Colonnava terminal continued without any disruptions despite the state sector strike action. The number of buses arrived at the Colonnava terminal this morning has increased. Public faced various difficulties as the employees of the Immigration and Immigration Department had supported the strike action. Officials attached to the Registration of Persons Department also refrained from reporting to duty in support. Peaceful protests were also seen in front of several institutions as well. Correspondents have said that the staff attached to many state institutions outside Colombo reported for duty today.
The government has directed attention to introduce a joint price formula for the Indian Oil Company and Ceylon Petroleum Corporation. Also, Minister Kanchana Wijesekara said that adequate quantities of coal required for power generation are available until next September.
These remarks were shared at the meeting of the Committee on the Parliamentary Business. Committee members, including party leaders, were present at the meeting to find solutions for the prevailing crisis situation. Primary attention was directed over issues pertaining to power, energy and gas supply. Discussions over the price formula still continues. Minister Kanchana Wijesekara, speaking at the meeting, said that maximum effort will be taken together with officials to overcome the crisis in the next couple of days by controlling the prevailing situation. A detailed report over the management shortcomings and issues pertaining to the crisis is expected to be handed over to the Parliament. It was revealed that officials attached to the Butturajavada terminal are working for hours with much dedication to ensure the uninterrupted fuel supply. Payments for another coal ship had already been completed, ensuring adequate coal quantities for the power generation until next September. The relevant acts and the purchase fuel directly for aviation services and Ceylon Electricity Board are expected to be revised in near future. Minister Kanchana Wijesekara requested the support of all party leaders of this overall effort. A special attention was directed over the prevailing obstacles which hindered the inclusion of renewable energy into the national grid. Accordingly, the committee members pointed out that all party committees should be established to expand renewable energy sector. The relevant acts in this regard are expected to be revised in the near future. Minister Sehan Semasinghe made these remarks over the existing gas shortage. The minister said that the maximum effort will be taken to normalize the gas supply and distribution chains in the country under the Indian and World Bank credit loan facilities. Speaker Mahindra Pabewardena said that lengthy discussions were held in order to determine the immediate and long-term measures which can be taken over the prevailing issues. He said that certain discussions were reached during the meeting. The Speaker said that a decision was reached to conduct this meeting once in 2 weeks at the parliamentary complex with the participation of all party leaders and relevant officials of the state institutions. And the chairman of Litro Gas Company, Vijay Herat, says the demand for gas can be fulfilled in the next week without any shortages.
The gas distribution, which was suspended for a period of several days, resumed yesterday.
The distribution of gas quantities received from a vessel containing gas arrived recently in the country resumed yesterday. The distribution of gas to create the Colombo Economic Zone was commenced yesterday, and the distribution for the other areas commenced today. Another ship carrying gas stocks expected to arrive in the country today. Meanwhile, Public Utilities Commission has mentioned that a power interruption of 3 hours and 20 minutes will be carried out tomorrow. Accordingly, power will be interrupted for 2 hours between 9 am to 5 pm, while 1 hour and 20 minutes from 5 pm to 9 pm. And meanwhile, the GCE ordinary level for the year 2021, and which was postponed due to the crisis situation, expected to commence on May 23rd. Commissioner General of Examinations L.M. Dharmasena made these remarks while taking part in a mini briefing held at the Government Information Department today.
Commissioner General of Examinations LMD Dharmasena said that the examinations will begin on 23rd of May. He added that a total of 440,129 school applicants and 110,367 private applicants are expected to sit for the exam. He further said that examinations will be held at 3,842 examination centres and 542 coordination centres. The Commissioner General said that the scholarship examination will be held on 16th of October. He further said that GCE advanced level examination will be held from 17th October to 12th November. Today marks the 20th day of the protests underway in front of the Presidential Secretariat.
People from various parts of the country have arrived for the protest action and currently camped at the agitation site. Members of several trade unions also participated in the protest today. A gathering of people is currently protesting at present. The protest march organised by Samagi Janabala Wege reached Dannawita town this evening. The protest march was commenced today from Galigamua town. Today is the third day of the protest march. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa was present at the beginning of the protest march today. The protest march arrived at the Dannawita town through Varkapula town. Protest march expected to begin tomorrow from Dannawita town. This march expected to reach Colombo on the May 1st.
The 11-party faction has decided to participate in the special discussion scheduled to be held tomorrow with President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. This decision was reached following a discussion held at the official residence of former President Maithripala Sirisena. Parliamentarian Venerable Athuraliya Ratanathera said that all the parties in the faction should decide whether to attend the meeting together or not. He further said that this will be decided based on how the prevailing issues can be resolved. Parliamentarian Vasudeva Nanayakara said that they hope a separate time will be allocated for the 50 members in the faction.
වෙලාවක් නැද්ද හෙට? නෑ. දැන්ට තියෙන වෙලාව අපිට තවත් යම් ඕවිටින් කැඳවුව අයටත් එක වෙලාවක්. අපි වෙලාවල් දෙකක් ඉන්නවා. ඒගොල්ලන් එක බෑනේ. බෑ. වෙලාවල් දෙකක අපි කතා කරන්න ඕනේ. ඔව් නේ. එකට ආණ්ඩු කරත හැකියි. ඔව්. දැන් අද මොකද විශේෂ ගත්ත තීන්දුව මොනවද පක්ෂ 11? මේක තමයි හෙට යන විදිය ගැන. ඒතර මොන විශ්වාසය මතද දැන් මේක අන්තර්කාලීන ආණ්ඩුව කොහොමද බිහි වෙන්නේ?
Parliamentarian Udaya Gammanpilla said that an alternative should be in place before the removal. Minister Janaka Vakkumbura and State Minister Shanta Bandara met with a group of representatives of the National Agrarian Collective who are currently engaging in a satyagraha in front of Diyatuyana Battaramulla.
The ministers directed their attention on the demands of the organization. They also took measures to hand over a letter consisting of issues faced by the farmers to the minister. The minister agreed to provide an opportunity within 3 days for a meeting on the discuss on the issues pertaining to the letter with the relevant ministry officials. The protesters commended the ministry for taking measures to resolve the issue.
Sri Lanka receives the geographical indication GI certification for Ceylon cinnamon from the European Union. The official ceremony to hand over the certification was held at the PMICH yesterday.
largest cinnamon producer and exporter in the world, Sri Lanka claims 90% of the global market share in cinnamon supply. Ceylon cinnamon has acquired a long-standing reputation in the international market for its unique quality, color, flavor and aroma. Sri Lanka maintains a productive trade relations with the European Union, being the island nation's second largest export market. With the intention to uplift the competitive trade of the small and medium-scale entrepreneurs in the regional and European Union markets, the European Union introduced the European Union Sri Lanka Trade-Related Aid Project in the year 2015. Representatives of the delegation of the European Union in Sri Lanka and Minister Shehan Semasinghe were present at the ceremony organized by the Sri Lanka Export Development Board.
Even during ancient times, Sri Lanka had a rich legacy as a leading supplier of cinnamon in the international trade. Arab traders in particular sailed to the island in search of cinnamon. Our government's policy framework, Vistas of Prosperity, has identified cinnamon as a key commodity in terms of agricultural development. Sri Lanka is accounted for 90% of the global market share. In 2021, Sri Lanka's cinnamon exports earned over 230 million USD. Although there are many varieties of cinnamon, Ceylon cinnamon is considered superior due to its delicate taste and many health benefits. GI registration would differentiate Ceylon cinnamon in the EU market from other cinnamon of lower quality and will act as a source of competitive advantage which will have a positive impact in exports. Sri Lanka enjoys a very productive relationship in respect of trade and commerce with the EU. In terms of regions, the EU was Sri Lanka's second largest export market. Sri Lanka is also a beneficiary of the EU GSP Plus trade concessions, which has given a boost to the island's exporters. I hope this achievement will encourage our cinnamon exporters to reach greater heights and generate more income to the country, and our government stands committed to provide its fullest support to help your endeavors.
Sri Lanka has a lot going for itself. It has all the fundamentals are right. It is a unique island, it has unique properties, and this event has to be taken like that, to remind ourselves of the potential of Sri Lanka and to try to build on it, even though at this time, the times are bleak. But this shows exactly what Sri Lanka can do to increase its foreign exchange. And that will be the main object of this short allocution. So we're working together to increase the value chain of this fantastic product. And you've all been in airports, you've all seen in the duty-free the price of champagne and then the price of mousseux, which is the same product made 200 kilometers down the road, but it's half the price. So obviously there's an issue of maximizing the profit and maximizing it here. What is also very important is that a geographical indication preserves the product history and the people. So I just mentioned champagne, the Weissbier of Bavaria is also protected as a geographic indication, or Parmigiano. At the moment, Sri Lanka exports for about $200 million of cinnamon. The overall market is 800 million, but it could grow many folds. But for that, one has a story and sell the story. And that's what we call branding. And here you have lots of elements for branding the cinnamon. So what we need is to give a much better branding for Sri Lanka. It shouldn't be about either tsunami or civil war or Easter bomb attacks. It has to be about fantastic product, the best cinnamon in the world, the best tambili in the world, the best pineapple in the world. And that's what we want to achieve with this geographic indication. So we can also build on many other qualities of Sri Lanka. The fact that the social standards are high, that the labor standards are high, and that there's permanent contact with Europe. Europe is the second biggest market of Sri Lanka. So here we are really trying with all the European Union member states ambassadors to have Sri Lanka recognized for what it really is, which is its civilization, its beauty, its wealth. And we will support that through this and through many other efforts to come.
Meanwhile, the State Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Corporation has produced the levothyroxine drug, which is commonly used by the patients suffering from thyroid-related ailments.
The issuance of the newly produced drug to the medical supply unit was commenced yesterday.
Until recently, the relevant medicinal drug was imported into state hospitals in bulk, and these drugs were issued to patients in separate containers. However, it is significant that the new product will be available in blisters packs. The State Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Corporation has said that the relevant product will be issued to private sector pharmacies in another 4 weeks. Minister Professor Chanajaya Subana was present at this occasion.
A gazette notification has been issued by the Consumer Affairs Authority over the selling, storing, collecting, distributing, exposing or offering for sale and displaying for sale of goods. Accordingly, the gazette notification has directed a special attention on several factors over the relevant activities. This gazette notification has been issued under the power vested with the Consumer Affairs Authority Act No. 9 of 2003. Accordingly, all manufacturers, producers, store owners, suppliers, distributors or traders should have a receipt or bill or invoice in writing or printing or electronic for the goods in their possession in a container, warehouse, silo, place of business or any other places. Moreover, the gazette notification has indicated that all manufacturers, producers, store owners and traders to possess a receipt or invoice for goods in their possession with the name and address of supplier, purchase date, price, type of goods, quantity and batch number. A workshop to create awareness among the journalists over the risk pertaining to HIV/AIDS and its outbreak was held at the Government Information Department Auditorium yesterday.
And the objective of this workshop is sought for assistance from journalists over the mitigation of the disease spread. Even though Sri Lanka records a low level of AIDS, also known as HIV-infected patients compared to other nations, the latest reports have indicated a rise in the number of infections in the country. A total of 3,700 HIV patients have been recorded in the country at present, and 410 infected patients were identified last year. The National STD AIDS Control Program was said that a high number of infection rate prevails among those who engage in unsafe sexual relations and inject narcotic drugs, workers in coastal regions and prison inmates. HIV testing and care services have been established throughout Sri Lanka. Those who wish to get tested for HIV can visit www.knowforsure.lk website and reserve an appointment in this regard. More information can be obtained through telephone numbers 011 266 7163 or 070 363 3533. In addition, the facility of a deliver HIV self-test kit for the residents can be arranged through the telephone number 071 637 9192. Director of National STD AIDS Control Program, Dr. Rasanjali Hettiarachi, was present at this workshop. And the Met Department says the showers or thunder showers will occur at most parts of the island during this evening and the night. Heavy showers above 100 millimeters may occur in several areas in central, Sabaragamu, Uva and eastern provinces and in Gol, Mathura districts. The Met Department announced has further indicated that fairly heavy showers above 50 millimeters may occur in other areas too. Accordingly, general public had also been requested to take necessary precautions to minimize damages caused by strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. Showers or thunder showers may occur in several places in the sea areas of the coast, extending from Bana to Pothaville, Vayapotalam, Colombo, Gol and Hambantota. The sea areas of the coast extending from Colombo to Kanskasanture, Vayapotalam will be fairly rough at times of the sea. Other areas around the island will be slightly moderate.
Actress Anusha Sonali had passed away. She was 47 years of age at her demise. Anusha Sonali had been admitted to Colombo South Teaching Hospital following a sudden ailment last night. She had passed away this morning while receiving treatment. She was able to win the hearts of the Sri Lankan cinema fans with her film Visidala. Then she showcased acting prowess in the films Lokuduwa, Handanakinkini and Darupata. She had also acted in several teledramas as well. She won the Best Upcoming Actress award at the Sarasavi Awards in 1995. Foreign news on the other side of this break.
Where words fail, music speaks. Are you ready? For some music from 60s, 70s, 80s and the 90s? Tune into Cafe Classics for a mix of music. Every Tuesday at 10 p.m.
Everybody let's rock. Everybody in old cell block will dance to the jailhouse rock.
Welcome back, and in your foreign news tonight, United Nations General Secretary Antonio Guterres is visiting sites around Ukraine's capital that were occupied by Russian troops for several weeks in March. The first stop was Borodyanka to the northwest of Kyiv, where the damage from airstrikes and shelling is breathtaking.
Standing beside the wreckage of residential apartment in blocks of central streets, United Nations General Secretary that the war is an absurdity in the 21st century. The war is evil. He further said that there is no way a war can be acceptable in the 21st century. Meanwhile, Russia says it destroyed 2 MO depots overnight. Russia's defense ministry had said its missiles struck for Ukrainian military targets overnight, destroying 2 missiles and ammunition depots near the settlements of Bravinkove and Ivanikwa in the east of the country. It said that Russian forces had also downed a Ukrainian Su-24 aircraft near Luhansk. The General Staff of the Armed Forces has said that the Russian forces have intensified their efforts to encircle Ukrainians in the southeastern Donetsk region. It is reported that the Russian forces in the eastern Kharkiv region are trying to move towards the village that lies close to the Russian border. Russian shelling of the regional capital Kharkiv also intensified.
Now, millions of Indians are experiencing a brutal heat wave that is throwing lives and livelihoods out of gear, and there's no relief in sight.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi told the state of chief ministers yesterday that temperatures are rising rapidly in the country and rising much earlier than usual. The India Meteorological Department has forecast a gradual rise in maximum temperatures by 2 to 4 degrees Celsius over the most parts of the northwestern and central India this week. This week, the mercury in the capital, the Delhi, is expected to cross 44 degrees Celsius. Many experts say India is now recording more intense, frequent heat waves that are also longer in duration.
Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has appointed Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, son of assassinated former Premier Benazir Bhutto, as Foreign Minister, giving his coalition ally a senior role in repairing frayed ties with the United States and other Western countries. Yesterday, President Arif Alvi took the oath from the Oxford-educated Bhutto Zardari, scion of the country's leading political dynasty. His mother Benazir was assassinated at an election campaign rally in 2007, and his grandfather Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, also a former foreign minister and later prime minister, was hanged by a military dictator in 1979. At just 33, Bhutto Zardari becomes one of the world's youngest foreign ministers, but inherits a diplomatic bag of issues that started well before he was born, including relations with archival India. Bhutto Zardari, chief of Pakistan People's Party, said in a Twitter post he was honoured and humbled to take the oath as foreign minister.
Welcome back, and now it's your sports update. Gujarat Titans secured a victory against Sunrisers Hyderabad in an Indian Premier League match played yesterday. The match was played in Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai.
Good night.